Good morning once again, guys. Today we're going to start our discussion on Introduction to Multiple Linear Regression. I'm pretty sure that in your past subjects, you have already discussed multiple linear regression. So we're going to briefly discuss and review the concept of an MLR, a shortcut for multiple linear regression. Okay, so we know that a multiple linear regression is a statistical technique where you have several independent variables or predictor variables or descriptor variables in order to predict the outcome of a lone single dependent variable or response variable or outcome variable. Okay, so what's the goal of multiple linear regression? We'd like to establish the relationship between your explanatory variables and your response variable. Okay, so we'd like to see how related your explanatory variables are, your independent variables, to your dependent variable. Now take note that multiple linear regression does not establish causality. Okay, I use a word, let me write that, causality. Okay, we're not saying that a particular independent variable causes your dependent variable. That's not the objective of multiple linear regression. Okay, when you say causes, guys, I'm using it in a strict sense. Okay, because multiple linear regression aims to just take a look at the relationship. Okay, we're not saying that this variable causes this other variable. Okay, but sometimes it can be used loosely. The word used, causality, take for instance, let's say GDP causes, let's say, growth in a particular company. Okay, sometimes we might use that term. However, not strictly to say that GDP is the reason why there's growth in a country, although that might be true to a certain degree. Okay, so just take note that for multiple linear regression, okay, we're not trying to determine or establish causality, but just relationship. When you say relationship, what we're trying to infer is the movement of the variables. If the independent variable goes up by this amount, what will happen to the dependent variable? Will it also go up? Or if the independent variable goes down by a certain value, will the dependent variable also go down? So in that case, we're trying to say if the independent variable goes up and the dependent variable goes up also, then we're saying that there's a positive relationship between your independent variable and your dependent variable. On the other hand, if the independent variable goes up and the dependent variable goes down, it decreases, then we say that there's a negative relationship between your independent variable and your dependent variable. I have thrown here some notes, okay? So this is, why don't we copy this and then open it in your search engine. Let's try to see what's inside here. Okay. So this is a note on, this is our markdown, okay? This is our markdown for scientists. Okay, I think I got the wrong notes, but this note, guys, is how to write an equation in R markdown. Okay, it makes use of a language called LaTeX. Okay, LaTeX is a language that's used for many purposes, but it's very helpful in writing basic math commands. So I threw in this reference because for your projects, guys, you're going to make use of this LaTeX to create equations. Now, before I proceed, guys, let me just share with you some outputs. Okay, these are the expected outputs. For example, last term, this is their quiz number 3. Okay, take a look at how they created this output in R Markdown. You can see it's beautifully, except of course for the underline, there should have been no underline here. So this is one of the quizzes that they had. Okay, and notice how well the project is written. Kita nyo dito yung ano, no? Andito yung, this is one way of writing your footnotes. Okay, it's on the side rather below. Okay. Just want to share with you, show this to you. Okay, so you can of course create a plot also in R Markdown. Okay, so this is an output, well-written output. And incidentally, guys, this group got a grade of 4. Okay, so I just wanted to share with you my expected output from our end. And you can only do this, guys, using R Markdown. So it's very important for you to learn R Markdown. And do not just depend on the video that I shared with you. Please, there are tons of videos on the internet, on YouTube, on how to navigate through R Markdown. Okay. Right, so let's go back to our. Okay, so take a look at what I wrote here. Okay, so this is the LaTeX code, guys, to write this one. Okay, so this is nicely written. This is a lot better than doing this in Word. Of course, there's a challenge to understand the code a bit. It's actually easy, guys. Of course, there's a learning curve. So, for example, this is just this is $2 means this is the beginning of your set of equations. Then begin. Then you can see here this one, y underscore I. So this is this one. The underscore is your underscore I. This is your subscript. And then backslash beta underscore 0. It's the one, this one. Okay. Then beta 1 times x I sub 1, etc. Okay, so but what I wanted to show here is that this is the general equation for your multiple linear regression. This is your independent variable y sub I. Then you have several predictors. You have n predictors in this case. Okay, you have beta 1 refers to the slope of your first predictor. Okay, x sub 1. Beta 2 is the slope of your second predictor, x sub 2, until beta n is the slope of your nth predictor. And then you have a certain error term here, epsilon. Okay, I think epsilon should be, there should be an I here. Okay. Okay, notice, guys, that I place here underscore then I, and then it automatically gave the epsilon sub I. By the way, the end, guys, is the $2 sign here. Okay, so we're for I is equal to n observations. Okay, let me just put some space here. There. Okay, notice that it now gave placed a space between n and observations. So we have n observations, which means we have a sample size of n. Okay, y sub I is your dependent variable. X sub I are your explanatory variables. Beta sub 0 is your y-intercept. And beta sub n is the slope coefficient for each explanatory variable. And epsilon is the model's error term, also known as the residuals. Okay, let me pause for a while. Clear ba to, guys, itong ano natin, to equation natin so far? Okay, this is just a quick review of what we have discussed in your other subjects, guys. Kasi I'm sure marami kayong DSI subject, no? And in those subjects, you discuss not only simple linear regression and multiple linear regression. So what's the difference between a simple linear regression and a multiple linear regression? Pag simple linear regression, guys, you only have one explanatory variable. So for a simple linear regression, there will be no beta 2, there will be no beta 3, there will be no beta 4, etc. up to beta n. You only have beta 1. You only have one explanatory variable. So your equation becomes y sub I is equal to beta null plus beta 1 times x sub I1 plus the error term. Okay, so that's your simple linear regression as compared to your multiple linear regression where you have several predictors. Okay, so any questions about this so far? Kindly chat naman please guys kung so far naiintindihan, or please feel free to ask questions. Okay, I'll wait for your response guys kung okay tayo so far. Let me just put it along here. Paki-chat naman please guys kung okay tayo so far. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Samir. How about the rest, guys? Thank you, Marielle. Thank you, Yung. Okay, Steph, thank you. Okay, you, thank you. All right. So I hope, guys, I get 100% participation when we when I ask questions. Okay. All right. So let's proceed. Now, for multiple linear regression, guys, there are certain assumptions that we need to take into consideration. So linear regression makes several assumptions about our data. The first assumption is that there should be linearity of the data. Now, what do you mean by linearity of the data? What do you mean by that? Linearity of the data. Let me see. Let me annotate this one. Okay. When you say linearity of the data, guys, when you try to plot the data, for example, ito, no? So this is the first assumption. Oops. Hindi kita. Yan, first assumption natin yan, no? Just use maybe yellow. First assumption natin to, guys, no? When you say linearity of the data, it means that the relationship between your independent variable and your dependent variable can be characterized by a straight line. Okay, so for example, let me plot it here. No? Suppose you have your independent variable y, and you try to plot it with one of the independent variables. Okay, pag plinat natin siya, guys, dapat yung relationship nila should at least be close to a linear relationship, no? Okay, so let's say it's like this. So it approximates a linear relationship. Sorry for the inaccurate drawing, no? But this kind of plot, scatter plot, points to us that there seems to be a linear relationship between your y and your x. Now compare that, guys, with this type of a plot. So, medyo ganito yung plot, no? Yan. Okay, take a look at this. This is also your y. This is your x. Now, which of the two cases here, guys, in what case here will we be able to use or model using multiple linear regression? Of course, it's this one. Okay? Kasi linear apparently may pagka-linear relationship ni y at saka ni x. As compared to this one, guys, kita nyo na hindi naman linear relationship ni y at saka ni x. So in this case, we will have a problem, okay, using multiple linear regression here, linear regression. This might we might be better off using a quadratic or polynomial regression in this case, rather than a multiple linear regression. So that's the first very important requirement, no? Assumption. Dapat may linearity yung data natin. The relationship between your independent variables and your outcome variable y is assumed to be linear. Okay, sabi ko nga, you can easily check this by using a scatter plot. I-plot natin yung relationship ng dalawa. Pag linear siya, guys, then okay tayo. Otherwise, pag hindi, then it might not be a good we might not be able to use the linear regression model to establish a relationship between your y and your x. Okay? So, chat ulit, guys, please. Clear ba yung unang assumption natin? Clear ba, guys? Thank you. You? Okay. Yeah, very good, guys. Salamat, ha. Salamat sa pag-feedback. Kasi I would encourage you guys to ask questions if you need some clarifications, please do so. Do not be ashamed. Okay? All right. Let's go to number 2. Ano ko lang ito. Clear ko lang yung... Okay. All right, so let's go to number 2, linearity of the parameters. So what do we mean by linearity of the parameters? Assumption 2 requires a specified model to be linear in parameters. Okay, but it does not require the model to be linear in the variables. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, anong difference ng 1 at saka number 2? Again, let me just draw again. What do you mean by linear in parameters? If you recall, guys, yung equation natin, y sub I, parang ang hirap ng data. So let me just refer to this. Okay, ano kaya nangyari dito? Ba't nagka-error? Yan, okay. All right, take a look at our equation, guys. Y sub I is equal to beta null plus beta 1, x sub 1. Okay, what do you notice about beta 1 here? Si beta 1 naka-squared. Beta 1 is squared. Now, ito yung sinasabi natin, dapat yung mga parameters natin, yung beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, they should all be linear. And what do we mean by being linear? Ibig sabihin, guys, ng linear, okay, beta 1 natin, okay, si beta 2, lahat ng mga parameters natin dapat linear siya. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa pwedeng naka-square yan. Hindi pa pwedeng naka-square root si beta 1. Okay, hindi pa pwedeng naka-log yan. Log ng beta. Okay? Yung parameters hindi pa pwede. Yung mga slopes natin. Okay? Dapat beta 1 lang, beta 2, beta 3. Now, ang sabi dito, guys, we're not referring to the independent variables. Kasi si x, yung mga independent variables, guys, si x1, pwede naka-square yan, no problem. Si x1, pwede naka-square root. No problem. Si x1, pwede naka-log. Log of x1. Pwede yan. Pwede naka-cube to the 4th power. No problem. Okay? No problem with the variables, independent variables, being raised to the 2nd power, raised to the 1/2 power. Pwede naka-log sila. Pero guys, yung mga parameters natin, yung beta 1, yung mga slopes natin, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, etc. Hindi sila pwede naka-square, hindi pwede naka-cube, hindi pwede naka-square root, hindi pwede naka 1 over, hindi pwede naka 1 over beta, hindi pwede. No? Sa x pwede. Pwede yung mga independent variables natin, pwedeng 1 over x, pwede yan. Okay? Pero yung mga parameters natin, yung mga slopes nila, they should only be linear. Okay? So there's a difference, guys. Ha? Iba yung ang x naka-x squared. Okay lang yun. Iba yung x mismo, yung predictor variables natin, pwede siya naka-square root, pwede naka-log, pwede naka-reciprocal. Okay, pwede yan. Check yan, check. Pero yung mga slope sila, yun na hindi pa pwede naka-beta squared, naka-log ng beta, 1 over beta. Okay? So let me pause for a while again, guys. Okay. So once again, guys, pardon me guys kung lagi akong nagpo-pause kasi I want to make sure that all of you understand what I'm discussing kasi baka masyado mabilis yung pag-discuss ko o hindi gaano clear. Okay? Clear so far, guys, yung requirement number 2. Paki-chat naman, please. Okay, good. Good. Okay? So I don't expect, guys, for example, sa take-home quiz nyo, baka may makita akong beta 1 square dyan, ha? Mali yun, no? Hindi pa pwede yun. Pero si x, pwede yan. Okay, pwede naka-ano siya, pwede naka-square. No? Okay, so let me clear this again. Okay, and that's illustrated by this one. Ano? Tingnan nyo, beta 1 squared. That's not allowed. Hindi siya pwede. No? Linearity of the parameters, sabi natin na yung mga yung mga slopes natin, okay? Okay, yun yung parameters sa mga slopes, no? But it does not require the model to be linear in the variable. Sabi natin sa x, x1, x2, pwede naka-ano yan, no? Okay, it has to be linear in parameters. Okay, note that if the true relationship between your x, so x1 natin, and your y is nonlinear, it is not possible to estimate the coefficient beta in any meaningful way. Okay? Anong sinasabi nito? Kapag yung if x and y are not linear, okay, then hindi natin ma-estimate yung beta. We're not able to estimate it. So as shown here below, okay, you can see here that beta here is squared. So hindi natin ma-estimate yung beta 1 na to. Okay? We cannot estimate beta 1. That's why hindi pa pwedeng yung mga slopes natin are non-linear. They should be linear. When you say linear, guys, hindi siya raised to a certain power, hindi siya naka-square root, cube root, hindi siya pa pwedeng naka-log, hindi rin siya pa pwedeng naka reciprocal, no? Okay. So once again, guys, assumption number 2 requires the model to be linear in parameters. Hindi natin ma-estimate yung mga slopes natin kung hindi siya linear. Okay, again, guys, it does not require the model to be linear in your independent variables. Okay, so I hope that's clear, guys. Okay, ito pwede, no? This is okay. Your x is squared, kahit naka-log pa yan, naka-square root, etc. No? So pwede ito, yung una, yung beta 1, naka-square, hindi pwede. Okay. Assumption number 3, homogeneity of residuals in a variance. Okay, what does that mean? Ano ibig sabihin ng homogeneity of residuals? Okay, pag tayo guys, pag nag-model tayo, Okay, when we model our, when we come up with a model, and when we plot the residuals, dapat yung residuals, guys, it should be random. It should be homogeneous. No? When we plot the residuals, when you say residuals, guys, ito yung error terms. Ito yung difference between the predicted value and your actual value. Okay, we'll learn more about that as we go along, guys. No? Pero what's important now is to understand that dapat yung residuals, ito yung residuals natin. No? Ano yung residuals? That's denoted by E, epsilon. Ito yung mga error terms natin. And how do you generate your error terms? Diba, pag may model na tayo, we will be able to compute for our predicted values. Using the model, ano yung predicted value natin ni Y ng outcome variable natin, independent variable natin. Tapos, ang gagawin natin, we're going to compare your predicted value with your outcome, with your actual value. Okay? So, kunyari, ang actual value ni Y is 20. But when we use our model, we came up with the value that the predicted value is 18. So the actual minus the predicted value, that's 20 minus 18, that's 2. No? So may residual tayo na 2. So itong mga plot na to, guys, these are your residuals. Ano sinasabi nito homogeneity? Ang ibig sabihin na to, guys, na across your let's say across your X, no? Across your predictor, dapat, guys, yung ano natin, yung residuals, this is your error term, yung residuals natin dapat constant. Okay? So ito, homogeneous yung variance nito. Kasi it behaves across this band. No? How does that differ, guys, kung heterogeneous yung ano natin? Pag heterogeneous kasi yung ano natin, yung error terms, so let me use this, yung ano natin, yung residuals natin, it behaves in a certain pattern, kunyari, like this. And if you can see, guys, yung ano natin, yung mga residuals natin, it's not constant over time. It goes, nagpa-fan out siya, no? Lumalaki siya over time. Ayan. So habang lumalaki yung outcome variable natin, lumalaki yung residuals. So this is what we call a non-constant residuals variance. And this is what we call heteroskedastic. So homoskedastic, constant yung variance ng residuals natin. On the other hand, kapag hindi constant, we call it heteroskedastic. Hetero. No? Heteroskedastic. Ito to. Homoskedastic versus heteroskedastic. And we don't want that. We don't want a situation where your residuals are heteroskedastic. Or it can behave like this, no? Para may pattern pa rin siya. Ganyan. No? So ito hindi rin homoskedastic yung distribution ng error terms na to, yung variance niya. This is also heteroskedastic. Okay? So there's a pattern, or it's also behaving like this, pataas siya. Kasi pag ganito yung variance ng residuals natin, ibig sabihin nun, meron pa dun sa data natin na hindi natin nakaka-capture yung trend na to. We're not able, the model is not able to capture that. So that's what we mean by homogeneity of the residuals. And this is very important. Okay. All right. So once again, guys, paki-chat naman please kung clear ba tayo so far dun sa sa homoskedasticity. Okay, good. Good. We'll learn how to plot residuals. Makikita natin kung heteroskedastic ba to? Kung heteroscedastic yan guys, then we have to do something about the model. We have to remedy the model. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Number 4. Number 4, guys, is what we call multicollinearity. Ano naman yung multicollinearity? Okay. This is essentially the assumption that the predictors are not highly correlated, okay, with one another. You learned about correlation, di ba, sa mga stat subjects niyo. Okay, yung correlation, sinasabi natin yung association yan. And when we take a look at correlation, dalawa yung tinitingnan natin dyan, di ba? Yung strength at saka yung direction ng dalawang variables. So gusto natin, guys, ipa-plot natin, kunyari, this is x1. This is one of your predictors. This is another one, x2. So parehong ano siya, independent variable. We don't want them to behave like this. And so this one, the relationship between x1 and x2, guys, is highly correlated. Linear na linear siya, no? And we don't want your independent variables, x2 at saka si x1. Ayaw natin na ganyan yung relationship nila. Bakit? Kasi pareho nila i-predict sa ano, si y, di ba? Pareho nila i-explain si y. Now, kumbaga parang just to speak in layman's term, mag-aagawan yan sa pag-explain kay y. So that it would be very difficult for us to determine which part is being explained by x1 and which part is being explained by x2 in relation to trying to explain y. Ano yung ina-explain ni x1? Ano yung ina-explain ni x2? Diba? Kasi ganyan yung regression, guys. Diba? We're trying to establish the relationship between your x1, your x's, and your y. So kapag may multicollinearity, it will be very difficult to try to dissect or to split kung ano yung ilang percentage ng variability ni y ang ina-explain ni x1 at saka ni x2. Okay? Rather, guys, we want, sabi nga natin kanina, we want, kung ito si y, kung ito si x1, gusto natin na highly correlated sila. Yan. Gusto natin na si y at saka yung mga independent variables natin, we want them to be highly correlated, whether it's x1 or x2. But we don't want the variables, the independent variables, to be highly correlated. Ayaw natin yun. We don't want that scenario. No? Okay, as it states here, pag ganun, guys, we will be experiencing what we call multicollinearity. Okay, this is essentially the assumption that the predictors are not too highly correlated with one another. So there will be multicollinearity when two or more explanatory variables are highly correlated. So sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, this is a problem as it can be hard to disentangle which of them best explains any shared variance with the outcome variable. So mahihirapan tayo kung which variance of y is being explained by x2, that's which is being explained by x1. It also suggests, guys, that the two variables may actually represent the same underlying factor. So there's a principle, guys, multiple linear regression, the principle of parsimony. No? Parsimony. Ano ibig sabihin ng parsimony? Well, sa Tagalog, ang corresponding ano ito, yung kuripot, no? Ibig sabihin, why do you have to include several independent variables? Okay, bakit i-include mo si x1 at saka si x2? Kung halos pareho lang naman sila, why not just include x1? Diba? Para mabawasan yung independent variables natin. Okay, or just include x1 and not x2. So to come up with a parsimonious model. But imagine, guys, you have 100 independent variables trying to explain your dependent variable. Sa multiple regression, guys, hindi the more the merrier. No? It's not that case. Pwedeng mas maganda pa yung 5 variables lang mag-explain sa outcome variable natin kaysa sa 100 variables. Okay, so it's not the more the better sa multiple linear regression. Papasok yung concept ng parsimonious model. Okay? Parsimony, that's the key word na gusto natin. No? The lesser the independent variables, the better. Okay? Kasi may mga instances na mas konti siya, mas maganda pa yung model. No? Mas mataas pa nga yung kaya niyang, pag mas maraming independent variables, guys, mas mataas yung what we call the coefficient of determination, which we'll be explaining in a while. No? Yung coefficient of determination tells us the percentage of the variability of your dependent variable, which can be explained by your model. Okay, so pag mas marami independent variables, mas tataas talaga yung R-squared. Okay, and later on we'll learn another alternative measure, hindi yung R-squared, hindi yung coefficient of variation, coefficient of determination, but rather what we call the adjusted R-squared, which we're going to discuss later on. Okay, next, again guys, any questions about this, yung multicollinearity? Okay, may measure tayong gagamitin later on. We call it the VIF. The VIF is called your variance inflation factor. Gagamitin natin to determine if there's collinearity between your independent variables. Okay, clear to guys, VIF, variance inflation factor. This is a measure used to determine kung meron ba tayong multicollinearity. Okay. All right. Pause again, guys. So, again, guys, my favorite question. Okay ba tayo so far? Yung concept ng multicollinearity. Kindly chat, please. Please feel free to ask questions if you find it not clear. Okay, good. Thank you so much. All right, so okay, let me clear once again. Drawing ko dito. Okay. Next, number 5. Number 5, guys, is the independence of your residuals or your error terms. Kanina na ano ko na to na medyo partially na discuss ko na to, no? 'Di ba kanina prinat natin yung residuals natin and we said that the model should be homoscedastic, no? Dapat constant yung variance ng error terms. Okay? Now, yung heteroscedastic, guys, nangyayari yan if it also happens when there's a relationship between your residuals. No? Okay, independence of the residual error terms means that dapat walang relationship yung mga residuals natin. Ito. So, di ba, prinat natin yung residuals natin. So, this residual should not be related or correlated to this other residual. Okay, this residual should not be related to this one. Itong residual na susunod should not be related against this one or even 2 lags or 3 lags. So, ang sinasabi lang yan, guys, dapat yung residual term, they should be independent. Now, this will only occur when we have what we call a time series. Okay, so let me first explain, no? Ano ba yung tatlong klaseng data natin? First, we have cross-sectional data. Can anyone explain, guys? Are you familiar with the cross-sectional data? Any volunteer? Any volunteer, guys? Do you know what a cross-sectional data is? Never heard ba yung cross-sectional data? Let's see. Okay, all right, sige. So if this is the first time you're hearing this, cross-sectional data, guys, is a type of data where you are considering, okay, many units, no? many units or many individuals of interest, and one point in time. Okay, sorry for the writing. Okay, many units and one point in time. Okay, let me illustrate. Suppose we're looking at the GDP, GNP, employment rate, birth rate, mortality rate, and other demographic factors. Okay, so let's just focus on ASEAN. So yung mga countries ng ASEAN, we collected this data, GNP nila, GDP, labor, inflation rate, dollar, currency exchange rate, etc. But we're only looking at it from in 2021. Okay, only one point in time. Okay, so sino yung mga units of measures natin? Yung ASEAN, yung mga ASEAN countries, Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. So we have several units of interest, no? Several individuals, can be countries, it can be companies, it can be individuals, okay? But we're taking a look at it only in one point in time, okay, 2020 lang. So that's what a cross-sectional data is. On the other hand, we have what we call a time series. Time series. Okay, ano naman si time series? Okay, opposite siya ni cross-sectional. No? Si time series, guys, one unit, several points in time. Okay, I hope that's clear, no? Okay, let's example, guys. Again, the same data, GNP, GDP, etc. But we're only looking at the Philippines. Okay. However, we're looking at the Philippines from 1970 to 2020. Okay. So in that case, that is a time series. Bakit? One unit, di ba sabi natin, only one unit lang or one individual or one country, and then several points in time. So sa Philippines, from 1970 up to 2020. Cross time series yun. Okay, so magkaiba yung ano guys, magkaiba yung cross-sectional at saka yung time series. Anong kaibahan nila guys sa structure? Well, one difference between time series and a cross-sectional is that si cross-sectional, order does not matter. Order does not matter. Kunyari yung data natin kanina, yung sa 2020 lang, tapos ASEAN, it doesn't matter kung alphabetically siya from A to Z, or from Z to A, or random yung ordering. Walang problema doon. No? Walang problema. Pero pag time series, may order yan. By year, 70, 71, 72, 73. Hindi natin pwedeng i-random yan. Hindi pwedeng 2015 muna, tapos 2018, tapos 1997. Hindi pa pwede yun. So sa time series, there's an inherent structure in the order of the data. Sa cross-section, hindi. It doesn't matter. Mauna si Philippines, mauna si Singapore, mauna si Brunei, mauna si Cambodia. It does not matter. So itong independence ng residuals, guys, it has more a bearing in time series. Okay? So time series to. Kasi yung independence of the residuals, ibig sabihin nun, importante yung ordering ng residuals. Eh sa cross-sectional, guys, pag binago natin yung order ng data natin, di ba, mababago na yung order ng residuals. So, yung independence ng residuals is not a concern with cross-sectional data, it's more a concern with panel data. Okay? Pakichat nga guys, please, kung clear so far yung difference ng cross-sectional at saka time series. Are we okay on that? Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Okay, good. Good, no? All right, there's a third type, no? There's a third type, and it's called your panel data. Okay, towards the end of the term, summer term, guys, ito yung titingnan natin. Panel, sorry for the writing. P-A-N-E-L, P-A-N-E-L, panel. Ano naman si panel? Panel data, guys, is the combination of your cross-sectional and time series. Ibig sabihin, many units being considered, and many points in time. So i-combine natin yung kanina, yung example natin, ASEAN, lahat ng mga countries ng ASEAN. Kino-collect natin data, GDP, GNP, etc. Lahat ng mga macroeconomic data, demographic data. But not only in 1 year. Kasi kung 1 year lang siya, cross-sectional yun. But not only the Philippines, kasi kung Philippines lang, at several points in time series na yun. Ito, combination. So lahat ng countries, many units, tapos several points in time, from 1970 to 2020. That's what we call a panel data. Okay, so clear guys, ha? Cross-sectional, time series, and panel data. Okay, ang pinaka-robust dito guys, ang pinaka-magandang gawa ng model, yung panel. Kasi, siyempre mas kompleto yung data, and then we can see now the differences also between countries sa data natin. Okay, this will be one of the last lessons that we're going to have. Okay, so ang lesson natin una, cross-sectional muna, and then pupunta tayo sa time series, and then pupunta tayo sa panel data. Okay, so let me... Okay, and last guys, discuss ko na to, no? Yung residuals. Yung residuals guys, dapat normal siya, normally distributed. Okay? Pero ito guys, hindi naman talaga to strict required sa hindi siya strict requirement sa multiple linear regression. Okay? So, kailangan pa rin ba yan? Yes, but not strictly required. In fact, if the population, if the sample size is big, okay, hindi na masyadong pinapansin yung normality of residuals. Pag malaki yung sample size natin. Okay, but we'll discuss that in greater detail later on. Okay, so clear po itong drawings natin. All right, so those are the assumptions, guys. Assumptions ng multiple linear regression. Okay, so dito na tayo, no? Now we begin with the formal lesson on multiple linear regression, okay, using R. So there are certain packages that we're going to use, no? The site package, the pastex package, OLSRR, and the Stargazer. So I think I'm using my own file, okay? So you know how to run this, diba? You know how to run yung installed packages. You just click this one to run everything. And then kailangan natin i-library para magamit natin yung functionalities. Okay, so I'll give you a few seconds, guys, to install these packages and to require it. And then when you're done, guys, paki-chat so that I know when to continue. Okay, paki-chat nga please, guys, after you're done installing the packages and requiring.
Sure.
Yes.
After installing the packages,
Oh, yes, both.
do we have to run the library as well?
Yes, yes. Kasi hindi natin magagamit yung package yan. You only install it once, okay? So once you have installed the package, you will have to require it. Otherwise, pag na-install mo na siya, tapos hindi natin library or require, hindi natin magagamit yung functionalities.
Sir, nung download ko po, nagka-error it said na RTools is required to build R packages. It's not currently installed.
Sandali sino to?
Escanio ba?
You. Okay, you, paki-share mo nga yung mo.
Naka-disable po yung share screen.
Sandali So, gawin kitang co-host. Okay, then pause ko muna yung... Stop share muna ako. Could you kindly share your screen? Okay.
Ano po, sir?
Our tools is required to build our packages not currently installed. Okay. So pag ganyan guys, then i-install mo si our tools. Okay, so sige, maglagay ka dyan sa separate na lang, sige, separate ng
New project po, sir?
Hindi. Maglagay ka ng panibagong code chunk. Sige dyan. Naalala mo, Control-Alt-I. Ito? Control-Alt-I. Yan. Sige, install that packages. Type
Ito
na
po, sir?
Hindi, yung isa lang, yung R-tools lang. May dot. And then, sige, open parentheses. Quotes. R-tools. Capital yung R. Very sensitive sa
sensitive.
Yan. Sige, install mo yan.
Same parent po, sir.
Okay, ano sabi? Version of this package might not be available elsewhere. Okay. Baba ka ulit, tingnan natin yung message sa Yung iba na yung iba na load eh. Sige, sandali at isa-isayin nga natin muna. Unahin muna natin yung, huwag mong sabay-sabayan i-install, no? Yung site muna, go to that line. Sige, Control-Enter mo. Control-Enter. Sige, let's see kung sino yung nagkakaproblema sa Let's just wait, no? Sabi R-tools, successfully unpack na. Okay na siya, install na siya. Si paste
So, ito naman po.
Sige. Na-install naman pala si si site. Successfully unpack. Okay. And then si OLSRR. Okay, so Stargazer.
Okay na po, sir.
Okay, sige na i-show mo nga yung yung ibang window pane mo. Asan yung yung files pane. Yan, sige. Punta ka sa packages, tingnan natin. Sige, increase mo nga yung and then packages, i-type mo nga sa site, hanapin mo yung site package yan. Ayan, meron na, no? So you can click that. Pag click mo yung site package, it's just the same as library, no? And then i-click mo mismo yung site package. Go back to packages. Naka-help ka. Yan. Click mo yan. Oo. Pag click mo siya, sige. Tingnan nyo mo anong nangyari. At tingnan mo sa ilalim ano yung sa console mo. 'Di ba? Parang tinype mo rin yung library ng site. Di ba? Nakuha mo ako?
Ako, sir.
Okay, yan din yung paste text, no? So, clicking that is just the same. Guys, nakikita nyo yung kay no? Clicking yung sa package is just the same as writing yung library, no? Okay, so there are different ways to require. So, okay na, no? Okay na yung mga packages.
Okay, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you for asking. That's good. So, guys, let's follow the example of you. Huwag mahihiyang magtanong, no? Okay, how about the others? So, si Samir, okay na? How about the rest? Okay, I'd like to... Okay, thank you. Mariel, thank you. Steph, thank you. Sam, thank you. Okay. So I think, yeah, really thank you. I think everybody's done. Okay, guys. Itong mga to, yung mga packages na to, it's always good to it's always good to know what these packages contain. No? Don't be satisfied with just knowing that itong mga site-pasted sa OLSR na to, tsaka etc. na naka-load na yun sa inyo, no, sa library nyo. You can either go to so tinumo natin sa help dito, guys, no? So let's dito sa sa console, I suggest that you put your console here kasi nasa console yung ano mo, no? Nasa console dito sa baba. Mas maganda, well, at least for me, no, mas maganda kung nasa upper right siya para kita mo kagad yung yung codes being shown in your console.
Sir, paano ba yun i-move?
Okay,
Like,
so
carrier.
to move it, sige, okay lang. To move, go to tools. Tools, then global options. No? Tools, global
po, sir.
options. Okay. Okay. Tapos itong pane layout, no? Pane layout.
Ay po, sir.
Okay, dito sa upper right, piliin mo si console.
Tapos apply po, sir.
Oh, i-click mo lang siya, console. Tapos malilipat na dyan yun.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, you. Okay, the others guys, pag may questions, please, Okay, so either one question mark or two question mark, depende minsan. So let me use one question mark, no? Site. So, lumabas guys sa help natin, ano? Kita nyo? Nag-appear ba guys sa help nyo, yung site package? Okay. So you can learn many things about this. Ito yung ano niya, documentation niya, our documentation. So this is a package for personality, psychometric, and psychological research. Kasi guys, yung sa psychology, marami silang test, tapos talagang ginagamit na lang statistics. So psychology makes use of several statistical models. So itong package na to, medyo marami, no? You can learn a lot if you really want to know really more about this. So let's just take a look at this. It's a dynamic model of mga examples to, no? So 3 vignettes may be downloaded. So these are sites that you can look at, no? If you want to know more about the and usually guys pag yung mga packages na ganito, let's see asan yung niya. Merong documentation yan available in the internet, no? So let's see, tingnan natin hanapin natin dito. Where is that? Okay, let's see. Hindi ko makita guys yung ano. Anyway. Sorry, nakamute ko lang. Let's check lang sa internet guys, yung site package. Ito guys, CRAN site package. Psychometric and personality research. Then, andito guys yung reference manual, no? So merong, you can download this. Okay, ito, no? Package site. And these are the functions. So 450 pages all in all, ang dami, no? So it has been developed. Can you see, guys? Were you able to access it? I might be going too fast, no? Developed at the Northwestern University to include functions most useful for personality and psychological research. No, kahit na pang psychological research siya, maraming functionalities dito guys na pwede natin magamit. A companion package site tools includes larger data set examples. Okay, so asan yung mga codes sa kanya? Okay, going down. Okay. Ito guys yung mga codes sa kanya. So for example, if you want to have some descriptive statistics, you can use the describe function. Okay, correlation test, correlation plot, multiple histogram, skewness, kurtosis, geometric mean, harmonic mean. So quite a lot of functionalities that can be used. Okay, tapos you can then ini-explain bawat function. Kunyari alpha. Find two estimates of reliability. Ginagamit to yung conduct alpha, yung validity and reliability test. Tapos may example. How the code is used. And then oftentimes magbibigay pa sila ng example. Alright, example to. Example. Yeah. You can copy this. You can copy this and you can run it sa R Studio. Ito, you can just copy this, no? Tapos i-run nyo sa R. Kunyari, describe. So let's go to describe. Control F. Describe. ito, describe basic so you can use this. Gagamitin natin ito mamaya in order to generate descriptive statistics. No? It will give us some, ayan, bibigay sa atin yung mean, standard deviation, trimmed mean, median, minimum, maximum, etc. Okay, so I think I've said a lot, guys. Pause muna ako, ha. Clear ba so far, guys, yung documentation ng mga package? It's important, guys, for you to explore or try to see kung ano yung binibigyan ng package niyan. Kasi dapat alam natin kung paano natin ma-utilize, okay? Ma-maximize yung gamit ng packages, okay? All right, so I just wanted to illustrate that. I will not anymore try to look at the different packages, no, but let's just kunyari paste text. Para saan ba itong paste text na to? Control Enter. In general, at least in general, alam natin ano, kung para sa yung okay, katulad nito, guys, no? I tried one question mark and then paste text. Ayaw niya. So sometimes you need to use two question marks. So it's loading. Pag ganyan, guys, nag-ano pa, nag-blink pa tong vertical ano ito. Ibig sabihin, naglo-load siya. No? Baka mas mabilis yung machine nyo, sa akin medyo mabagal na eh. Okay. Okay, nag-ano na siya, no? Nag-ano, greater than, wala lumabas. Now, what you can do is, pwede nating hanapin out sa package mismo. No? Sa packages, and then let me type paste text. Yan, no? If I click this, ito, yan, lalabas yung documentation. So paste text is used for space-time ecological series. So you can see here, guys, that maraming mga packages which have been contributed by many fields. So ito yung mga ano niya, ito yung mga functionalities niya, no? Tapos if you click, for example, one of this, okay, it will explain kung ano yung function na yun. Tapos it will explain the output, tapos kung paano mo gagamitin. Okay. Let's take a look at this description file. Okay. All right, not much information here. Okay, pero may mga gagamitin tayong functionalities sa paste text, no? All right. So, and then si OLSRR gagamitin natin yan for stepwise regression. Stargazer is ito na lang, sige. Last. Stargazer. Napin natin si Stargazer. Yan, Stargazer. Okay, the Stargazer command produces Latex Code, HTML, and ASCII text for well-formatted tables. So this is for formatting tables. No? So ito yung ano niya, ito yung syntax niya medyo mahaba. Okay, tapos ito pa iba yung mga ibang pwedeng functionalities niya. Tapos sometimes they give examples. Ito example, no? Example to. Okay, what you can do, guys, is to, sige, gawin natin to, ha. Let's copy this. No? Copy natin ito muna. Stargazer attitude, Control C. And then dito na lang natin sa console i-run. Let's run it here. Just make sure na naka-library na ba ako. Okay. Alright, so na-require ko na siya. Tapos, let me run this. Okay. Hindi natin makikita. Ano? Notice guys, tingnan nyo to. Naalala niyo binigay ko example kanina when I was writing the equations. You recall this guys? Naka-latex siya, no? Naka-latex siya. Tapos, ito, if you saw the video guys on R markdown and R, pag yung R markdown, pag ninit niyan, so dito, no? When you knit it, it will generate now an HTML document. Just like the one that I showed you a while ago, yung output ng mga estudyante. Okay, so sandali let's run this. Kasi naka-HTML siya. Control C. Baka HTML na naman to. Okay, naka-HTML siya. So we need to knit this muna, no? But okay, we're not going there na muna kasi hindi pa yun yung ano natin, hindi pa yun yung objective natin for this subject. For today, ang objective natin to be able to start doing multiple regression using R. Okay, so let's first import our data. Ang gagamitin natin wage data. And then once we import it, guys, let's have kasi we are told guys to at least give a few-minute water break, no? Kasi mahirap talaga yung 3 hours para sa inyo, no? Sa masters kasi okay lang yun eh. Pero sa undergrad medyo talagang nakakapagod, lalo yung subject natin. I'm sure you will need some few moments to just relax a bit, no? Okay, let's first download our data, no? So paano dina-download yung data? Now, again guys, may mga functionalities are. We can type read.csv, etc. But let's first learn how to use this import dataset. So under your environment, makikita nyo to, import dataset. Okay, we're going to import the data that I shared with you, yung wage. Yung wage. Be sure you know where you saved it. Sabi ko nga, sinasuggest ko, mag-create kayo ng folder na our project. You save it there para madali yung hanapin. So import dataset here. And then, ano ba yun? Excel ba yun? Hindi, no? Ang sinend ko sa inyo, CSV file, comma separated values file. So it's a text file. So let's use this from text. Okay, and then i-cancel ko muna. So let's first open the file para alam natin. Ito yung file na sinend ko sa inyo, wage CSV. Let me open this first and show you what's inside this file. Nag-load na po sa inyo, guys? Bagal talaga itong computer ko. There you go. Okay. So here it is, guys. No? You have here on the first column, you have education, experience, tenure, race, gender, civil status, number of dependents, and hourly wage. Okay, so we have 8 variables here, of which our variable of interest is hourly wage. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to predict or to find the relationship between your dependent variable hourly wage with your other variables: education, experience, tenure, race, gender, civil status, number of dependents. As you can see, some variables are numerical. So education, experience, tenure, numerical siya. Number of dependents also numerical. But we have variables that are categorical. Si race, si gender, and civil status. Pwede ba natin ma-regress, magamit to mga variables na to as independent variables? Where we will regress hourly wage on them? Yes, pwede. Now, just a case in point, guys. Kapag multiple linear regression, or for that matter, simple linear regression, your dependent variable should be quantitative. Okay? So, quantitative dapat siya. Hindi siya pwedeng categorical variable. Hindi siya pwedeng binary. Dapat, sa multiple linear regression, your dependent variable should be quantitative. Okay? Quantitative siya. Pero independent variables natin, pwedeng categorical at saka pwedeng quantitative. Walang restriction, guys, sa independent variable. But your dependent variable should be quantitative, continuous variable. Okay, so let's now load this data. Ilo-load na natin siya sa R, no? So how do we do this? Here, import dataset. Okay, from base. If it was Excel, guys, then I would have chosen Excel. No? And then let me open my R projects folder. Nasa FINTSAR siya. Sa akin, and then I have here my wage data ko. Wage. Open. And then it will show here, guys. It will ask us how do we want to name the file. Okay, let's just maintain the name of the file as wage. And then here, make sure that you click heading yes. Kasi pag nino natin to, guys, let me just show this. Pag nino mo, notice, guys, education, experience, tenure becomes part of your data. Tapos lalagyan niya ng default na variable name V1, V2, V3. But that's not the case. Itong education, experience, these are headings. Pangalan ng variables natin. Yan. No? Okay, then we have here some defaults, comma separated, okay. And that's strings, okay. Don't mind these first strings as factors. Okay, let's not mind that. Then import. Okay, so when you import, guys, automatically, nyo nakita nyo, nag-show na siya dito, no? Okay, so ang code na ginawa natin, actually, ito yun, ito. So let's copy this. Copy natin to, Control-C. Copy natin dito sa RMD file natin. Paste natin dito. Tanggalin ko na lang yung, yan. Okay, take a look at that, guys. So, we're creating this object wage. Okay. And then this one, guys, this is very important, no? Yung less than at saka minus. This is what we call the assignment operator. So let's natin dito. Yung symbol na less than at saka minus, that's called your assignment operator. You're going to meet that, guys. No? Si assignment operator, ang ibig sabihin yan, we're creating an object called wage. Okay, so that's why, guys, it's important for you to view yung videos ng data structure, no? Kasi dinidiscussion doon. Okay, assignment operator, ibig sabihin yan, ito yung code natin. Tapos, rin-represent natin yung kung ano man to by this name, wage. Okay? So, yung function natin, read.csv. Tapos, rinagay dito kung ano yung location. Sa akin, of course, you'll have a different file location. Okay? So, nung dinownload natin to, dinownload natin wage, ito yung naging code natin. Tapos, we gave it a name, wage. Of course, you could have used another name. Naalala nyo, nag-import tayo. May nakalagay doon name. We could have used another name for that. No? Okay, whatever name you put there, that would be the name reflected here. Okay, and then sabi dito, view wage. Pag view wage natin, guys, ang mangyayari, it will generate this. Itong worksheet na to para mapakita natin, mapakita sa atin kung ano laman nun. Okay? Now, itong assignment operator, very important yan. Sorry. Wala. Nakalimutan ko shortcut. Control Shift I ba? Hindi. Okay. Sige, next time na lang. No? Kasi may shortcut tong assignment operator na to. Medyo nakalimutan ko lang ngayon. No? Okay. So, you can now see, guys, that we have now. And what happened, guys? When we downloaded the data, it appears here. Lalabas dapat dito yan sa environment natin. Okay. Sa environment, guys, lalabas ito lahat ng mga data which we already loaded to R. Okay, so it tells us that there are 526 observations and 8 variables. Check na natin. Ilang observations to? Yan. 526. And then 8 variables. Yan. Okay? All right. Pause muna ako, guys. Any questions so far? Clear ba tayo so far? Okay, good, good. Okay, so let's have a ilang minute break tayo, guys. 5 or 10. Refresh mo muna yung mind nyo kasi. Guys, I know heavy stuff talaga tong ano natin, no? So kailangan medyo have a water break. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, guys. What's the preference of the class? Hello? So good, guys. Any po. Sige, gitna 8 minutes, okay? So it's now 9:38 by my watch. 9:38 siya plus 8. Let's resume at 9:45, okay? O 9:46. Sige, 9:46, let's resume. Let me mute this for please remind me, guys, to okay, so let's just review this one, how we can download data to our R. Okay, what we did a while ago was to use the import data set, but okay, we can if you're already familiar with yung read.csv, that's the function that we're going to use. So for example, let's try to do this directly. So let's create this object. I'll just call it wage1 first, wage1. Okay. And then the shortcut for the assignment operator, guys, is Alt minus. If you're using Mac, it's command, I think command minus or control minus. Could you kindly confirm, guys, those of you who are using R? For Windows users, Alt minus. So that's a shortcut instead of typing the less than and then the minus, which can be quite difficult to write. Control ba o command minus for Mac users? Sino ba Mac user dito? Option pala, sorry. Ayan. Thank you, Shamir. Thank you, Yung. It's option. Okay, option minus. All right, then we use read.csv. Okay, read.csv, and then we have to know the file location. So how do we do that? If you open your, open your the location where the file is located. Okay, for me it's here, and then I can copy. You see here, guys, the home sa home may copy path dyan, diba? If I click copy path there, and then go back to my R Studio, and then I can paste it here, paste. Okay, notice that it's the same. However, guys, si Windows kasi ang ginagamit niya si backslash. No? R does not want that. Ang gusto ni R si /. Okay, so what we can do is to make this, to make it fast, we can use Control F. Okay, may Control F, then Control Find, then, and then, so what are we going to find? We're going to find here. Ito, no? We're going to find yung itong backslash. Okay, so dito na siya, no? Replace it with the /. There. So replace. And then it will go to the next replace, 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 replace. Then okay now. Okay. So were you able to follow, guys? So that's one way to write the code to download, to upload our data. Of course, it depends on the type of file that you're loading to R. It can be an Excel file, so it will be a read.excel. It will be a different code. So what you can do, guys, if you're not familiar with how to upload a particular data set, you just use the import data set, and then when you do that, it will write the code. Okay, i-write yung code na yun, then you can just look at that, because you'll be able to learn easily kung ano yung code na ginamit niya. No? And then we can now type view wage1. Okay, because we named it as wage1. So I'll run everything here. And then notice, guys, may wage1 na tayo dito. No? Wage1. Then it's the same. No? Binago lang natin pangalan. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is delete ko na ulit si delete ko lang si wage1 para hindi masyadong dumami natin. RM remove wage1. We're not going to use that anyway. RM wage1. Okay, remove. Okay, notice, guys, na wala na siya dito sa environment natin. Okay, so let's let me pause for a while to ask questions, for you to ask questions. So far, clear ba, guys? If you're able to follow, paki-chat naman na yes. Okay, good. Thank you. Let's wait for the feedback of the others. Thank you, Steph. Willie, salamat. Jeff, Samir, thank you. Okay, kompleto na ba yung nag-chat? Mayal, thank you. Yung, thank you. Okay. All right, so let's move forward. Let's examine our data now. Okay, did I give this code? I don't think I did. No? Okay, blanco sa inyo, guys. I purposely did that because I want you to be the one to write. Okay, let me delete this. Na-view na naman natin siya, no? Okay. So let's take a look at this one by one. Now, the names function will give us kung ano yung laman ng data natin. So let's try to run this. Right click please and control enter. Okay. So it generates the variable names that are found in your data frame. Yan, education, civil status, etc. Okay, we use the names function. And then the head, guys, the head function gives us, sorry about this. Pag head lang, guys, it will generate the first 6 rows of your data. Head, ano yung object na gusto natin i-display? Si wage data. No? Okay, control enter. And then it will give us the first 6. Yan. You can see first 6 elements, no? First 6 rows. Yun ang default. Okay, if you want to change it, let's say make it 10, just write wage, comma 10, and then this will give us the first 10 observations. Yeah, first 10 observations. Okay, now on the other hand, the tail function gives us the last. Again, the default is 6. If I don't put anything here, it will give me the last 6 observations. There, 521, 522, hanggang 526, diba? And I could change this. Tail, let's make it last 8, for example. And it will give us the last 8 observations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's really very easy to display data in R. Okay. And then we have this nice brackets. No? So what's happening here? I'm using the data itself. Our data frame is wage, and then brackets. Now, yung brackets, guys, it subsets our data. So if you can see here, wage, brackets. Oops. Nangyari. Ito. Wage, brackets. Yan. Dalawang parts yan, guys. No? Tignan nyo, ha? Wage, first number here, comma, second number here. The first number here is the number of rows. The second number here is the number of columns. Okay, so ang sinasabi dito, guys, wage, brackets, 1 to 10. Ibig sabihin on the first 10 rows. And then here, comma, number of columns, lahat ng columns. Kasi wala tayong in-specify. No? Since wala tayong in-specify, guys, lahat ng columns ang i-generate niya. Like this one. Okay? So it will give us, okay, sorry, but wage, no? It will give us the first 10 columns and then the first 10 rows, I mean, and then all the columns. So let's run this. There. So it gives us the first 10 rows and then all the columns. Now, if you want only, let's change this, 2 to 3, for example. If you want only row columns 2 to 3, then you write here 2 to 3. Okay, so this is rows 1 to 10, and then columns 2 to 3. So this, it should only be experience and tenure. Okay, so let's run this. There. Okay, it gave us the first 10 rows, and just the second and the third columns. Okay. All right, this is the structure. The structure function, guys, gives us some number summaries of our data. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so you have here, okay, first it tells us what kind of data do we have. What kind of data is wage? So it tells us it's a data frame. Okay. So guys, to learn more about what a data frame is, again, please watch the video on structure, data structure. Okay, I hope that encourages you. If you haven't watched it, please watch. Hindi naman siya matagal. A little more than an hour lang per video. Okay, so data frame siya. And then these are now your variables. No? So education, integer siya, int. Experience, integer also. Tenure, integer. Si race, character, white, etc. Si gender, character din siya. Si civil status, character. And then si number of dependents, integer din. Si hourly wage is numeric or continuous variable. Yung may decimal. Okay? All right. Dun sa discussion ko guys, dun sa data structure, bawat variable, okay, may different types of variables. We already mentioned this, my integer, this all belong to quantitative. Dalawa lang ang main characteristic, quantitative or qualitative. So for example, gusto natin malaman kung anong klaseng variable sa education. So the function there is class. We're going to use the class function. And then, you notice guys, linagay natin dito wage, dollar, education. So let's first do this. Copy natin to. Control C, Control V. Si class kasi guys, ang bibigay niyan, kung anong type ng variable yung si education. Okay, run this first guys, and what do you get? Please tell me what you got. Class education. Okay, let's see. See your comments. Okay, error message. Thank you. Thank you, Samir. How about the rest, guys? So Samir is getting here an error message. See you, error then, no? Okay, really good and then. Thank you, Yung. Thank you, Steph, no? Okay, I hope the others were able to get it, no? Okay, so error. Bakit kaya error, guys? Kasi sabi natin, could you kindly give me the class? Kung anong data, kung anong variable type sa education. But if you notice, guys, sa environment natin, wala namang education dito. Ang nare-recognize lang yun ng object is wage. Diba? So R is given an error output because it's not able to understand what education is. Wala naman siya sa ano natin dito sa environment. We know that education is part of the data frame wage. So dapat pag hahanapin natin yung class nito, dapat isasama natin si wage. Otherwise, mag-error talaga tayo. So if you notice here, wage, dollar, education. Bakit may dollar? Ibig sabihin nun, from the data, wage, hanapin niya yung variable na education. Remember guys, yung nag-structure tayo, di ba? Yan, nakalagay yun, dollar education. So this is from the wage data frame. So wage, dollar education tells us to look at the object wage and then look at the variable education. Okay, so let's now run this. What do you get? Paki-chat nga please kung ano nakuha niyo answer. What answer did you get? Dun sa wage, dollar education. Yun, okay, tama, no? Integer na, no? So we were able to now generate kung anong class o anong type, no? Okay, so it's an integer. So it's the same as type of, no? Yan. If you write type, lalabas dito, no? Type.convert, type of. You can use a type of and then wage, dollar education. Okay. Type of, let's see. So integer then. So pareho lang guys si class at saka si type of, no? Okay, let's try to see race naman. Class, ni raise, no? Wage, dollar raise, and it gives us a character, di ba? Did you get character, guys? Kindly chat yes, please. Okay, good. Good. Right, thank you. Okay, now let's have just a quick review. And then, i-summary muna natin, no? Si summary at saka si structure, medyo magkapareho sila in that they give us some number summaries. Sorry, I stand corrected. No? Hindi. Iba si structure, iba si summary. Ano nangyari kay summary? But it summarizes each of the variables. Si education, ibibigay niya yung minimum, ibibigay yung maximum, ibibigay yung first quartile, second quartile, even the average at saka si third quartile. Okay? So take note yung mga number summaries ito, yung minimum, maximum, first, second, third quartile, they only mean something when you have a quantitative variable. Yung mga characters, guys, hindi naman tayo pwede mag-average. Hindi tayo pwede mag-quartile 1 sa mga characters. No? So if you notice yung mga characters natin, si race, si gender, si civil status, they are all, ang binibigay lang yung count, no? Yung length. 526 observations daw. Class niya or mode niya, character. Okay, it is not able to give us, of course, a number summary. But the rest, guys, okay, binigay sa atin yung minimum, maximum, and then first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, etc. Okay? Okay, now another way to describe this is we can use what we call the site package. Okay, take a look at how I'll write this, and then describe, and then wage. Okay, take a look at this. Notice I wrote first the package and then describe. So I am identifying that use the site package, in particular the describe function, and use this function for the wage data. Now, why is this important? Sometimes, guys, may mga packages na may pareho silang function, kunyari describe. There are other packages that also have this function describe. So in order to make sure that R understands kung saan package galing itong function na to, then you identify the package and then double colon. No? Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so ito na guys yung isang gamit ng nung site package, no? So you have 8 rows of 13 columns. Let me rerun this. Kasi kanina hindi nagkasya yung 13 columns. Let me rerun this. Linakihan ko lang guys yung width nitong script window natin. Hindi pa rin nagkasya. Okay. Hindi pa rin siya nagkasya. If I click this, okay. It will give us the other measures. Okay, so what does the describe package, the describe function in the site package give us? It will give us the count, the average, ito lahat, no? Ito lahat. Now, itong may asterisk, ibig sabihin ito yung race, gender, civil status, character to. Okay, so you notice may average din siya, although this does not mean anything, no? Ano ibig sabihin ng 1.9 na yan? 1.52. Okay, so that doesn't mean anything kasi hindi tayo pa pwede magka-average, hindi pa pwede magka-standard deviation ng isang sa mga character variables. So ang may ano lang yan, may meaning lang yan, yung mga quantitative variables. Okay? Mean, median, trimmed median, mean absolute deviation, minimum value, maximum value. Click this. And range, yung difference ng highest at saka lowest value, skewness, kurtosis, and the standard error. Okay? So in one function, guys, to generate lahat ng mga, not all, no? Yung some of the most important descriptive statistics. Okay. All right. Pause muna ako, guys. Clear so far? So, medyo marami tayo na-discuss dito, no? Tinignan natin yung names, anong ginagawa nun, yung head and tail function, and then yung structure gives us an idea of the of what type of data you have, and yung mga variables niya, kung anong klase, kung integer ba yan, character ba yan, etc. And we also looked at the summary, no? Summary, ibibigay sa atin yung 6 number summaries. Minimum, maximum, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile. Okay. And then we were able to also, in relation to summary, ginamit natin yung mas marami ibibigay sa atin yung site package na describe function. Okay, so paki-chat please kung so far clear tayo, guys. Okay, good. Good, thank you. Okay, salamat. All right. Okay, thank you guys for responding. Okay, let's continue on, guys. Let's take a look at other descriptive statistics. Kasi sa mga ano nyo, sa mga exam, take-home exam nyo, kailangan nyo i-generate yung descriptive statistics and then explain kung ano yung nature ng data natin. So this one we discussed already, yung cite, no? Yung describe function niya. Now let's use this from the paste text function. Okay, meron siyang stat.descriptive din. So let's run this second, yung paste text naman. Remember we loaded this paste text, and then we're going to use the stat.descriptive function. Let's run that. Okay. So if you can see here, guys, ito 14 rows, no? Tapos 10 yung ano niya, yung ito iba yung format ng sa paste text, no? Yung mga measurements, yung mga measures andi dito sa nasa rows, no? Number value, null, NA, minimum, maximum range, sum, median, mean, standard error of the mean. Tapos andito yung mga meron pa palang confidence interval of the mean at 95%, variance, standard deviation, coefficient of variance. Okay, so notice dito, guys, ito tama dito si stat.dex kasi hindi niya linagyan ng mga values si race, gender, at saka civil status. Kasi mga character variables yan. So it did not generate any statistical measures for them. Okay? All right. So may may similarities tong iba-iba may ibang mini-measure si describe, may ibang mini-measure si stat.describe. Now, tingnan natin, 'di ba, ang haba ng yung decimal place. Let's see if this will work. If I click itong dalawang to pagsabay ko kasi options digits is equal to 2. Ibig sabihin babawasan niya yung decimal places. Tingnan natin. Control enter. Okay, hindi. Hindi siya nag-aano, no? Let me see. Hindi, lagay ko na lang dito, guys, no? Let me see if this will work. Kasi you can use the round function para mabawasan yung yung decimal places. So let's see if this will work. Okay, I'm not sure if this will work. No? Okay, mukhang hindi. No? Okay, let's just try this, guys. So I appended the round function here. This is a stat.describe. And then sabi ko 3 decimal places lang. Let's see. I'm not sure if this will work. Ayaw niya, no? Ayaw niya. Hindi daw kasama yung round. Okay, so let me try this. Dito natin ilagay yung round. Ito ko siya ilalagay sa simula. Round. And then paste text. Okay. So yung round kasi, guys, it allows us to determine kung ilang decimal places yung gusto natin na lumabas. No? So I'm going to use the round function. Ipapasok ko yung paste text dito sa loob. then comma, three decimal places. Let's see. Ayun, ayan, okay. Okay na siya. Kaso, okay, hanggang 3 decimal places. There. Okay, kasi kanina, ang dami, no? Hindi naman natin kailangan talaga lahat, no? Okay, where there are 3 decimal places, nagti-3 siya. But the rest, kung wala naman 3 decimal places, nagdi-default lang siya kung ilan talaga yung number of decimal places niya. Okay. Alright, any questions guys so far? Clear ba tayo? Dun sa sinama natin dun sa base text, yung round function. Okay, good. The rest? Okay, thank you. Walang questions, ha? Feel free to ask questions, guys. Okay, so ilagay natin to dito. Control X. Let me put this here. Bago dun sa Stargazer. Okay. Now there's another package. Scheme R, linode ba natin to? Hindi yata, ano? So sige, i-load din natin. I-load nyo lang guys Scheme R. Ito sa install natin. No? That's another package that we can use. Scheme R. So install nyo guys. Tapos, library. Okay, I'm not going to install this anymore kasi naka-install niya sa akin. Ila-library ko na lang siya. Okay, thank you, guys. Okay, once you're done, guys, once you're done installing and requiring Scheme R, try to run this. From the Scheme R package, yung scheme na function. Control Enter. And when you're done, guys, kindly check. Okay, sabing yes kung naran nyo si scheme function ng Scheme R package. Okay. Okay, thank you, Huge, for the question. Show ko ito. Scheme R, and then double colon, then scheme, Huge. You know, guys, yung Scheme R doon, siya yung package, no? Si scheme, siya yung function na galing kay Scheme R. Why do we do that sometimes? Kasi minsan, we're not sure baka may ibang package na gumagamit ng function. But of course, guys, pwede niyang tanggalin din, ano? You can remove this. Kasi kung wala namang conflict, walang problema. Magsasabi naman si R kung may conflict. If I run that again, scheme, okay, it generated the same answer. So yung original natin, linagay lang natin yung, just for you to know, guys, kasi minsan, kunwari, nag-research kayo, nakakita kayo ng mga, bakit may double colon doon, tapos may parang package doon. So that's what that means. No? Scheme R, Samir, this Scheme R, check mo nga, baka Scheme R yung nalagay mo. And also, guys, if possible, guys, kung mag-question kayo, share it to everyone para makita din nila, no? So that everyone learns from your experience. Kasi may question si Samir dito. Okay na? Okay, sige, good. Samir, were you able to address your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Kasi guys, magandang lesson yung Samir, could you kindly share your question to everyone? I just want to discuss that very briefly. Yeah, thank you, Samir. Okay, so guys, very specific, very particular si R sa spelling, ha. Pag magkamali tayo ng spelling ng, kunyari yung package, kunyari, instead of scheme R, naging skin R, mag-error talaga yan. Kasi very particular si R sa spelling and even sa mga capital letters. No? Okay, even sa pagpangalan ng data, guys. No? Kunyari, small w yan, stick to that small w. Kasi pag, let me see, let me give an example. Just quickly. No? Kunyari, mag-review ako dito sa console. Okay. I'm now writing sa console view and then capital W. No? As far as R is concerned, walang wage na capital W. No? If I run this, error in view, object wage not found. Okay? Kasi wala naman talagang capital W. Merong small w. Okay, so R is very particular about the spelling, also capitalization. No? Okay, so si scheme R, ano ibinibigay sa atin? Yung mean, okay? And take note, okay, what do you notice, guys? Ito tatlong windows, no? Ito yung una niya, no? Okay, number of rows, etc. Why don't we, let's show this in a new window. Guys, ito, no? Let's show the printout in a new window. Yan. Para mas makita natin yung buong output. Okay, hindi rin maganda. Okay, let me close this. Okay, let me try, no? Dito ko iraran sa console si ano. So, minsan mas maganda, guys, yung ano dito, mas maganda yung output dito, no? So, let me page up. Oops, sorry. Yan, no? Arrow up, arrow. Okay, so let me run this here. Control Enter. Rinan ko sa console. Okay. Minsan hindi siya nagpa-print dito sa viewer. So ito yung ano niya, no? Dapat ito may drawing to eh. Okay. There should be a drawing here ng histogram niya. Kaso nagkaka-problema tayo sa printout nito. Okay? Sometimes nagkaka-problema, guys, we will just have to repeat the running of the code. Hindi nag-print yung histogram. Okay, anyway. All right. So what we're illustrating here are that there are different ways to generate your descriptive statistics, guys. Maraming iba't ibang versions yan. Just have to search the net then, guys, kung ano yung best ways to generate your descriptive statistics using R. Okay, this one is good, guys, itong Stargazer. Itong Stargazer, guys, we use yung object natin wage, type is equal to text, and then digits is equal to 2. So this will also generate descriptive statistics. Lagyan natin ng options. So we run this together. Although pareho lang pala ang digits is equal to 2. Ito na lang muna, yung stargazer. Let's run this. Control Enter. Okay. And you can see here, guys, descriptive statistics na mas maganda yung formatting compared dun sa iba. However, nagdi-default siya, guys, na sinasama lang niya yung mga quantitative. Kasi wala nga namang ano, di ba? Walang descriptive statistics yung ano, yung character variables. Okay, digits is equal to 2. Okay, so again, guys, let me pause for a while. Okay. Questions? Please chat, guys, kung clear tayo so far sa descriptive statistics. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Samir. Willie, you, thank you. Baka may question, iba pang classmates natin. Let's see. The rest, guys, may question ba? None. Some, thank you. Steph, Ariel, okay. Jeff, thank you. All right. Sige, let's continue, guys. Okay, descriptive statistics pa lang yun, no? Now, R is a very powerful tool for plotting data. So ito, we can use the plot function, plot. Okay, we identify yung variable education on the x-axis, and then on the y-axis, hourly wage. And then, yung title ng graph natin, main is equal to scatter plot of education and hourly wage. Okay, so pinaplot natin, guys, in-identify natin yung x-axis natin, which is your independent variable. And then your y-axis will be your dependent variable, hourly wage. And then the title of the plot, scatter plot. So it's a very easy way to plot in R. Let's run this. Okay. Now what happened, guys? Nag-error ba sa inyo? Paki-chat please kung nag-error sa inyo. Yes, error. Okay, correct. Error na. Bakit? Kasi, again, guys, we're using this education. Hindi naman niya naiintindihan anong to education na to. Ano to hourly wage na to. So we have to attach this. Diba? Ayan. Plot, wage, dollar education, wage, dollar, hourly wage. And then we can identify yung label ng x-axis, years of education. This is X label. No? Y label is hourly wage. Plot character, guys, which I'll explain in a while, 19. Frame, walang frame. Ibig sabihin yung plot, walang box, na hindi siya naka-frame. Tapos main is equal to scatter plot. Okay? So let's run this. Itong line na to. I'll just go to the bottom line here and then plot. There. Okay, we can see here now the plot. Okay, kita natin, guys. On the y-axis, linagyan kasi natin ang name to hourly wage. On the x-axis, years of education. And then this is the scatter plot now of your x and your y. And di ba sabi natin kanina, we would want the x and the y to be highly correlated, no? Ito medyo malaki kasi yung mga variance sila, no? Lalaki, oh. Okay, although meron pa rin naman parang correlation siya, no? But there seems to be a not so strong correlation here. Okay, so very easy to plot in R. Okay, ano tong, notice guys, yung PCH plot character is equal to 19. Okay, so let's Google natin, guys, no? I-type nyo nga, guys, Google natin PCH plot character in R. No? Hanapin natin kung ano yung mga different plot characters. Okay, can you please also look for it, guys? Bagal ng computer ko. So nakita niyo na guys, yung iba't ibang different plot characters. Kindly chat if you were able to see it. Okay. All right, dito. You can see it here. Ito, no? Let's use this. Tingnan natin to. So you can use different point shapes. Dinescribe lang, hindi siya pinakita na lang. Ay, ito pala. So slow. Yan. No? And guys, no? Yung number 0, it's like a square, etc. Okay, so ito yung mga PCH, no? Plot character. Limited lang siya. No? But what we used was number 19, di ba? What we used was number 19. Okay, close ko na nga yan. Okay. If you use number 1, guys, number 1, plot natin to. May iba yung shape niya. Number 1 is small circle ba? Ano nakalagay doon? Parang hindi PCH. Okay, anyway guys. So, yung PCH dito yung plot character, there are a limited number, 26 yata. No? Tapos, notice guys, yung ito dito yung sa x-axis hanggang 15 lang. So what we can do is we can include this axis. The one here refers to your x-axis, and then my sequencing siya from 0 to 20, and then increments of 5. Okay, if you want to change the y-axis, yung sequencing niya, you use number 2 here. Okay, so dito guys, medyo inayos ko lang tong kasi hanggang 15 lang siya, no? So gusto ko gawin niya hanggang 20, tapos may increments of 5. So let's run this. Okay, yan. Hanggang naging 20 na siya. Okay, let me pause for a while kasi alam ko na you have to write this on your own, di ba? Yan. Okay. Sige, I'll pause for a while, guys, and I'll give you time to write the code. And once you're done, guys, with writing the code, kindly chat, please, so that I know when to proceed. Okay, thank you, Samir. Willie Yung, thank you. Okay. You, thank you. The rest. Okay, let's give them more time. Okay, good. Good. Okay, yung iba, okay na? May tatlo pa yata hindi nag-chat. Okay, Steph, thank you. Okay. All right, so we can see here guys that ito, ini-improve lang natin yung plot natin. Ano? We just included this yung axis. Kasi kanina hanggang dito sa 15 lang eh. So we included this. Okay, then if you're going to regress guys, we're going to regress hourly wage on years of education. Medyo may pagka-linear naman yung relationship nila, but not really that much. Eh? Kasi dito sa mga values ng x-axis natin, years of education, makikita natin na very scattered talaga yung yung hourly wage. Okay, this is indicative guys na hindi lang malamang hindi lang years of education talaga yung yung makakapag-explain ng hourly wage. Okay, so let's continue now. All right, so this first brings us to the concept of simple linear regression. So magsisimula tayo guys kasi bago natin ginagamit yung R. We're going to do simple linear regression using R. Okay. Now, although ito hindi pa naman kailangan, pero sige gawin na natin to. Now, yung may tayo, di ba may close ko muna to. Meron tayong tatlong variables, si race, si gender, at saka si civil status, na categorical siya. Okay, so when we're using R, yung categorical variables yan, dapat ma-convert natin into what we call factors. Okay, so dapat ma-convert natin siya into what we call factors. Okay, I'll explain what factors are in a while. Okay, so okay, you're going to plot, no? We're going to write quite a lot of codes here. So let's take this step by step. Okay. Number one, ano yung LM, guys? This is a function. So tingnan natin, guys, what LM does. So I'm going to type here question mark LM, small m, which stands really for linear model. Control enter. So anong ginagawa ng LM? Para nahuli yung stargazer kanina. Ayan, guys. Na-delay yung LM. This is from stats package. Now notice, hindi na natin kailangan i-install si stats package kasi it already comes with R. So no need to load this, no need to parang nung nag-ano tayo ng R, nag-install tayo ng R, kasama na yung stats package. So LM is used to fit linear models, including multivariate ones. Okay, it can be used to carry out regression, simple analysis of variance, etc. Okay, and then this is the syntax. Tapos sa ilalim, you can find here, ito may mga example, no? May mga example ng ano ng pag-run ng ano. Ang suggestion ko guys is you take a look at this, you try this, copy paste lang siya tapos i-run tapos tingnan niyo kung ano yung ginagawa ng functionality na yan. Dito nag-require lang ng graphics, no? Require graphics. But you have to install that first. Okay, so let's go back to our modeling. Okay, now, sabi ko kanina, di ba, dapat yung mga categorical variables, hindi natin siya pwedeng gamitin sa regression unless they are converted into factors. Okay, kailan ginagamit, guys? Ano yung factors? Factors are variables that can be used for classification. Okay, kunyari, race. Ano ba yung race? Di ba si race white or non-white? Now, it's a categorical variable, but that can be used to classify lahat ng mga whites at saka lahat ng mga non-whites. Now, take note, not all categorical variables can be considered as factors. May mga special lang na mga categorical variables so pwedeng gawing factors. Kunyari, categorical variable, let's see. Kunyari, tinanong yung kasama dun sa data address, home address. Now, unless you're going to classify each of the respondents by address, then it doesn't make sense to use address as a categorical variable. Kasi hindi naman siya classifier. So kailan lang gagawing factor kung gagamitin natin siya as a classifier. Si race kunyari, white or non-white, we can use that now to see may distinction ba dun sa hourly wage ni white at saka ni non-white. Si gender, ganun din. Pwedeng factor to. Kasi may difference ba between the hourly wage of female and male? Also with civil status, single or married. So dito sa case natin, sa data natin, yung tatlong categorical variables ito, pwede natin i-convert as a factor. So how do you convert it as a factor? Ito gagamitin natin, no? So wage, dollar raise. Okay, so we're assigning it, no? Remember this? Yung alt minus. No? Then we use as that factor. As that factor, and then wage raise. Okay? So if you recall, tingnan mo natin dito Okay, naalala nyo kanina. If you recall here, class, then wage, raise. Naalala nyo to? Bibigay sa atin ng character siya. No? Now, this time, pag ginawa natin as that factor, okay, so pareho pa rin guys, nasa wage data pa rin siya. Okay, gagawin lang natin siya as that factor. Sino yung gagawin natin as that factor? Si wage, race din. No? Ganoon din si gender at saka si civil status. Okay, so sige, let's run these three. Okay, control enter. Okay. So we have converted si race, si gender, at si civil status as factor. If you recall kanina yung structure, tingnan natin guys yung structure. Structure ni wage, control enter. Okay. Now take a look guys. You notice si race, si gender, at si civil status ngayon, factor na siya. No? Hindi na siya character. Okay, and if we ask class, okay, si class ni race is factor already. Okay? All right. Any questions so far, guys? No? So, although hindi pa naman sa gagamitin ngayon for the regression kasi simple muna tayo ngayon. Next meeting sa Wednesday, gagamitin na natin yung yung mga factors natin to regress on hourly wage. Kasi ngayon we're starting with an example, just the simple linear regression. Okay. Now let's ano nyo nga to guys, after class, pasok natin ito dito. Yan. Sulat nyo muna to. No? Now, see, correlation, ito yung function ng correlation. So let's get the correlation between education and hourly wage. Tingnan natin. Ano yung correlation nila? If I run this, as usual guys, mag-error na naman tayo. Kasi hourly wage not found. Bakit not found? Kasi there's no object called hourly wage. Merong wage. Hourly wage is just a variable dun sa sa wage data, no? So what we have to do is pwede nating gawing correlation, and we have wage, education, and then wage, $sign, hourly wage. Now this will work now. No? Kasi naiintindihan niya si wage at saka si wage, no? Tapos yung mga variables na education at saka hourly wage. So if I run this, guys, you'll have an answer of 0.41. So medyo medyo mild lang yung medium lang yung mild or medium yung relationship ni ni wage at saka si education. We would like to have it stronger, no? Kasi sa regression, mas maganda talaga kung highly correlated yung independent variable at saka dependent variable. In this case, medyo hindi, no? Medyo hindi. Well, meron pa rin, but it's a medyo mild lang na na correlation. Okay. Now, so dapat guys, pag ginagamit natin ko, kunyari correlation, yung mga class function na yan, dapat we have to identify the object. And if yung object na yan, may mga variables yan, hindi natin siya pwedeng gamitin directly. But is it possible to use them directly na hindi na tayo dumadaan kay wage? So pwede. What we have to do is to attach the data frame. So the attach wage function will mean that lahat ng mga functions na gagamitin natin, lahat ng mga variables na gagamitin natin, succeedingly, they will refer to the object wage. Okay? So, anong advantage ito? Hindi ka na magsusulat ng mga wage kasi in-attach mo na siya. Anong disadvantage? Okay, disadvantage guys, kung marami tayong object na ginagamit, no? Okay? So mako-confuse si kung nag-attach ka ng object na yun, tapos yung pala ibang object na naman yung gagamitin mo. So you can only use this guys if you're doing a model na iisa lang yung object mo. Okay lang yun. Or pwede mong gawin na i-attach mo muna siya, tapos lahat ng mga codes mo, lahat in reference to that data object, and then i-detach mo ulit para hindi na magkaka-confusion kung gagamit ka ulit ng ibang datasets. No? Kasi usually hindi lang naman isang dataset ang gagamitin natin. Several datasets. No? Okay, so let's try this. Let's attach first the wage. Okay, attach wage. And then let's try to see guys, correlation. Correlation ng education at saka hourly wage. Kanina hindi pa pwede yan eh. Kasi di ba wala namang object na education at saka si hourly wage. But now, since we have attached the wage object, ang context nito, ibig sabihin niya, maiintindihan ni Arya na this is coming from wage. This is also coming from wage. So if we run this, ayan, nag-run siya. No? Kasi nag-attach tayo. Okay? Alright. Now, ito, pwede bang correlation lang ni wage? Let's run this. No? Okay, bakit tayo nag-error? Remember, wage is our data frame, di ba? Iba-ibang variables yan. Pero, guys, sa wage, alam natin na merong factor or merong character. Hindi naman tayo pwedeng kumuha ng correlation ito. So, itong column number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no? Column number 4, 5, 6, they are characters or factors. So hindi tayo pwedeng kumuha ng correlation ito. So ang gusto lang natin, kunin natin correlation ng lahat ng mga quantitative variables. No? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So columns 1, 2, 3, at saka 7, 8. So now, what we're going to do is get the correlation of the wage. Remember guys, itong naka-bracket na to, di ba? So, ano to? Yung first dito, lahat ng rows. So, kasama lahat ng rows, guys. Yung columns ang babaguhin natin. Yung mga columns natin, the second one here, is negative C. C means concatenate, no? I-combine. I-combine si columns 4 to 6, pero negative siya. Ibig sabihin, tanggalin, no? Negative siya eh. Tatanggalin natin si columns 4 to 6, which is this one. Tanggalin si column 4, 5, and 6. Okay? So what we're saying is that hanapin niya yung correlation dun sa wage ng lahat. Okay? Pero tatanggalin niya si columns 4 to 6. Okay, so if we run this, yan, ito na yung correlation. Okay? So, you know guys, from your prior statistics that the correlation between a variable and itself is 100%. So you can see here the diagonals. Kita natin dito yung diagonals natin. This one. Yung diagonals natin are all 1. Kasi you're getting the correlation with education, between education and education. Diba? So the correlation between a variable and itself is 100%, syempre. Ito hourly wage with itself is 1. Okay? Pero ang gusto natin guys makita, yung correlation ng mga variables with the other variables. So for example, tinan mo natin si hourly wage. Gusto natin guys, si hourly wage, mataas ang correlation niya with the dependent variables. So, as regards to independent variables, si education ang may pinakamalaking correlation with hourly wage. So it's indicative na baka mas maganda si education na na predictor as compared to the others. No? Ang susunod sa tenure, okay, ang pinakamababa si number of dependents. So malamang guys, baka hindi maging significant predictor to kasi ang baba ng correlation niya. 5% lang. Si education, 41%. Si tenure, around 35%. So dito makikita natin guys yung yung mga variables na pwedeng maganda na na predictors. Now let's take a look at the other variables, yung independent. Tingnan natin sa education. So sa education, ang correlation ng education with experience is negative 0.3. Si education at saka si tenure, negative 0.5. Si education at saka si number of dependents, 0.21. Okay, so among these three, ang pinaka medyo malaki na correlation with education is experience. Kaso maliit lang din, 0.3. Si tenure, maganda kasi mababa. No? What is the number of dependents? No? So we would want the independent variables to be weakly correlated or, if possible, not really correlated. No? Okay. Si experience naman, at saka si tenure, medyo mataas, no? 0.5. Quite moderate relationship between experience at saka si tenure. And usually guys, pag may strong yung relationship, usually natatanggal yung isa dyan. Okay? So ang pinaka nakikita lang natin yung correlation ng experience at saka ni tenure. Kasi that might give us what we call, naalala nyo kanina, naalala yung term, multi-collinearity, where the independent variables are very highly correlated with the other independent variables. And we don't want that. Okay, so we were able to generate this correlation plot. Tapos nakita natin yung relationships nila. No? We don't want independent variables to be highly correlated with independent variables. Okay, so let's now go to the first model. We have time for starting with this, no? A simple linear regression model. Now let's take a look at this, yung code na to. Hindi ko yata binigay sa inyo, kaya pakisulat nito guys, no? Okay, let me remove this first. Tanggalin niyo muna yung parenthesis dito. Okay, here, we're creating this object called model 1. Diba? Assignment operator, diba? Nag-create tayo ng model 1 object. Tapos, take note, LM, linear model. Okay? Then hourly wage is your dependent variable regressed on education. So simple regression lang to. Simple linear regression kasi isa lang yung predictor na ginagamit natin, comma, and we have to identify the, kahit naka-attach na to guys, ilalagay pa rin natin, data is equal to wage. Okay? So let's run this first, itong unang object natin dito si model 1. Control Enter. And notice guys, may lalabas na dito, no? Model 1. So it's a list. So again guys, pakitingnan yung yung data structure kasi naka-define doon po ano yung list. No? It's a list of 12. If I click this, okay, ito yung laman niya, no? Marami siyang laman, guys. Coefficients, ito yung residuals. Yan. Magagamit natin yan. So yung model, guys, yung linear model has many contents. Hindi lang isa yan. No? Marami siyang contents. Kita natin dito. A list. A list. So meron siyang double, meron siyang integer, meron siyang list pa rin. Okay, meron siyang a list within a list. So several contents of your model 1. Okay. Now, if I put a parenthesis here, ang gagawin nito guys, pag naglagay ka ng parenthesis, magbibigay siya ng initial na output. Okay, let me show initial output there. Diba? Naglabas siya kaagad dito. So you have here, kinocall niya yung model, LM. Ang formula natin is hourly wage regressed on education, or Y sub I, hourly wage is equal to X sub I education. And then ito yung answer. Intercept is negative 0.905. And then the slope of education is 0.541. Okay, so limited lang ibibigay na result guys pag naglagay tayo ng parenthesis. Ang mas marami niyan, itong summary. So let's now run this summary model 1. Control Enter. Okay, I have a few more minutes. 5 minutes lang tayo. Tapos na lang natin itong whatever we can finish here. Now take a look at this. Yan. Ito na yung regression output guys for our simple linear regression. Let's quickly take a look at this. So first, i-call niya yung model natin, LM, linear model. Formula is equal to hourly wage regression education. Data is equal to wage. And then pinapakita niya sa atin dito yung minimum value ng residuals and then the maximum. So makikita mo kung ipa-plot natin yung residuals para hindi siya hindi siya normally distributed. Kasi malaki yung residuals natin dun sa sa positive side, no? Ito sa negative side, maliit lang. Okay, and then this is the model that we generated, no? Coefficients, ito yung intercept, ito yung education, and then ito yung standard error, t-value, and then the probability. Now, kindly review guys yung for your assignment, kindly review yung individual t-test. Individual t-test for regression, and also the analysis of variance in regression. Kasi guys, ito na yung output niya, no? Ito yung individual t-test, tapos ito hindi pinakita yung regression, but we can generate that. No? Okay, so okay, we have only two more minutes. Okay, so anong binibigay sa atin ito? Ito, intercept and then education. So, ang sinasabi sa atin yan, hourly wage is equal to negative 0.9049 plus 0.5414 multiplied by your education plus a certain error term. Okay, so this is now our model, guys. Kasi ang rene-regress natin si hourly wage, di ba? Ito daw yung intercept, ito daw yung slope ni education plus a certain error term. Okay, so next meeting we're going to continue with this, but suffice it to say, guys, that you notice here the p-value. Ano ibig sabihin nito? May 3 stars. Ibig sabihin, sa education is a significant predictor of hourly wage. If you recall, guys, from your early stat, ito, significant to, no? The p-value is much less than 0.05. So, ibig sabihin yun, we will reject a certain null hypothesis. Ang null hypothesis nun is that education, the slope of education is equal to 0. So we reject that. There's strong statistical reason to believe that the slope of education is a value not equal to 0. In fact, the average value is 0.54. Okay? Pero si intercept, hindi siya significant, no? 0.19. Pero ang intercept, guys, whether it's significant or not, we still include it in our model. Okay? And then here below you have your analysis of variance. Okay, so let me stop there, guys. Next meeting we're going to it's 10:59 by my watch. So official time to. Okay, so next meeting we're going to continue with this. So if possible, guys, kindly take a look at the other at the other codes here. Okay, although hindi ko pala binigay yung iba, but you can do research in the internet. Tingnan niyo kung paano mag multiple linear regression or simple linear regression using R. Okay, so I think we were able to really accomplish a lot. Are there any questions, guys? Everything clear so far? Paki-chat nga please kung everything clear so far. Okay, good. Good. Okay, so next Wednesday, guys, we're going to continue this. Pag nagsimula tayo, guys, bukas na kagad yung next meeting. Kasi pag sinave nyo to, guys, tapos clinose nyo, mawawala na naman yung ginawa natin, no? So next meeting, guys, bago tayo magsimula, i-install the packages again already, and then load nyo na yung R, load nyo na yung wage function. And then make sure i-run nyo na rin yung iba, no? Hanggang dito sa simple regression natin para we hit the ground running next meeting. Okay? So thank you very much, guys. I hope you learned something today. We're going to continue our session next meeting. I'll stop recording now.